Hello and welcome back to episode 31 of my informative playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker. And all I've done is move west again, back to the road. So we've cleared this area here, and we're just back where these bandits ambushed us, and we can just scrape up what they've got. I'm actually going to take these chainmails. 25 gold each means only just over 3, and you've got 1 build point. But we'll grab them. We can now see that we can get the info here. Bandits still plague these lands, and we can try and disarm this chest.
Applause, please.
There we go. And it's got 1 gold in it. That's good, isn't it? Like, not even anything good out of that, apart from the dead bandits. If we come over here, you can see these some ruined buildings, and you can see the edge of something quite big here. If we go a bit closer, it doesn't reveal anymore. But yes, and we can go up here. But if we go up here, there's an ambush at the top, so we're going to take the long way round. But my main reason for starting a whole new video here was to do our leveling up, and I mentioned in the previous video this is quite an important level. So we're just going to go ahead and go in order, left to right, and I'll talk about why this is so important. Now, for our sorceress, we don't get anything special here, but what we do get is you can just see here we get level 3 spells, and level 3 spells is a really big deal. Now, because sorceresses have their spell level delayed by 1. Over a wizard. If we were a wizard, we would have level 3 slots at level 5. So, yes, it's the price you pay for lots of casts. So, we're just going to put 1 point in persuasion, as always, and I'm going to, at this point, now stick 1 point in stealth. No, I'm not. I'm going to stick 1 point in trickery. And the reason for that is that I'd just quite like to unlock some of the chests back in our capital. There are 2 chests which we won't be able to do. They've got, I think at this difficulty, like a DC 29 and maybe a DC 30, which is really high. They've got good stuff in them, but the other stuff's just got stuff to sell, like 500-600 golds worth of stuff. But since we're not really leveraging our lore nature enormously here, we'll stick the point in trickery, and it'll come back to bite us in another encounter, having this delayed in leveling up. But yeah, anyway, that means I can clear those items, and we get our first spell at level 3 here, and all of these spells pretty much have some use. Not all of them are as good as others. We'll get Deep Slumber. That one we get for free. So the key is to pick things we're going to want to cast lots. And, obviously, I'm trying to steer away from blasting, so we're not going to take Fireball. There's defensive spells here, and there's offensive spells. Stinking Cloud, Spiked Pit are both very good spells. But I think, unsurprisingly, we're going to take Haste as our first spell, and Haste is ridiculously powerful because it gives an extra attack. And having extra attacks, and a +1 bonus to hit, and a +1 bonus to AC as well. It's only 1 round per level, so it wears off very quickly. But we're going to have 4 casts of it straight away, which is great. And I also purchased this Lesser Extend Metamagic Rod way back when, and so we can double its duration from 6 rounds to 12 straight away. Now, Lindsay, again, we're just going to go straight up into Bard, and she does get some interesting things. So we get another Bard talent, but we get this, Fascinate, a new type of Bard song, and Fascinate is great because it's an AoE disable. So long as she's singing Fascinate, anything that fails this check will just stand motionless until it's attacked or until you stop singing. So, you can bring up Fascinate and send a whole group of enemies catatonic. And it works on things which mind affecting things don't normally work on, which is or it works on things that you can't use, like something we couldn't use hideous laughter on can still be fascinated. Something that we can't use days on can still be fascinated. So yeah, very powerful, well worth playing around with. For skills, we're just going to do the usual thing. There we go. For abilities, and I think I spoke about this in a previous video, but there's lots of different ways you can take Lindsay, and I've kind of decided that she's primarily our bard, our buffer. I'm not taking her into enchantment specialism, which is well worth it if you feel like that. I'm taking her into support archer, but mostly she's our bard song and buffer. So we're going to go combat trick, precise shot, and at last we don't get that -4 penalty to firing into combat. So yeah, Lindsay might actually hit some stuff now. Spells. Again, there's plenty of good spells here. We don't have that many more slots for her, and all of these spells are great. We're going to take Sense Vitals because I really want that on Lindsay, even if we won't be using it very much at the beginning. We won't be using it very much immediately, but this gives her sneak attack on ranged attacks, and we can combine that with all sorts of other stuff. Meaning, she'll be doing a few extra points of damage because she's a bit short on dealing damage at the moment. But the main thing here, fascinate, just the best. And she's now got a pab of 4. Valerie, this is quite important. We're still going straight up in fighter up to here. And the reason for that, rather than trying quickly for going into Stalwart Defender, which we'd be able to do next level, is I want the feats. That's we're going to stack all our fighter feats early, so that we can have Valerie being quite effective. Now, I've done this in such a way that, there we go, that's our outlay, 2 in athletics, 1 in perception. I've done this in such a way that we've got all the requisite feats to take this one at the earliest possible point. Shatter Defenses requires a BAB of 6, which is what we've just gained at level 6. It requires Weapon Focus and Dazzling Display. We took Weapon Focus, we took Dazzling Display here, and Weapon Focus early on there. So immediately, come level 6, we can take Shatter Defenses. Now, this is really important. It means that any shaken enemy is flat-footed. And if someone's flat-footed, they're denied their dexterity bonus. So it means she'll be hitting a lot more if we can generate a shaken status on our enemies. And we've got 2 characters who spend a lot of their time using Demoralize. And now, use of Demoralize gains a lot of value because it will mean Valerie will be rolling against flat-footed AC, not against regular AC. And since I'm synergizing this really well, she will also be able to get her sneak attack damage in as well. But I'll talk about that just after this. So the other thing about level 6 for a fighter is that because they're a full BAB class, they will gain their second iterative attack at -5. So she's got a BAB of 6, and her second attack is at +1. So full BAB -5. But still, that's 2 attacks around, which is great. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot more damage. Combine that with haste, and
I've been taught if someone annoys you, you either pray
she's
or
got 3
polish
attacks
your
around
armor.
now.
It is why my armor gleams as it does.
But the necklace of double crosses means that attacks against flat-footed enemies deal 2d6 sneak damage. she treats anyone shaken as flat-footed, and so if we can shake an enemy, she will get the flat-footed AC, and she will do an extra 2d6 damage on top of that. And so Valerie can now output a lot of damage at this point, and I'll try and demonstrate it with some upcoming enemies. Harem, again, we're just going cleric. There's nothing particularly exciting here. Going to go law, religion, and perception. We don't get any new spells, but we will get some new spell slots here. What have we got? We've got another level 2, and so we can take. Might as well take Eagle Splendor. The reason for taking this is it's really good to have because this will buff Charisma by +4, which will buff Alice's DC for her spells by 2, meaning we'll have an even greater chance of hitting that hideous laughters on tough enemies who are susceptible to hideous laughter. And we get another level 3 spell, and I'm going to take Animate Dead. Because what's a dwarven necromancer without at least some ways to animate the dead? This is a fantastic spell. 1d4 +2 undead skeletal champions. They're not going to do a lot of damage, but what they are going to do is absorb attacks. Summons are great at absorbing attacks, and most summon spells in this game are full actions. The Animate Dead is a standard action, so it doesn't take as long, which is really nice as well. So yeah. And finally, Amiri, poor old Amiri, she's going to be benched very soon. But she, again, because we're level 6, she gets an extra attack. We'll just put everything as we had before. And abilities, we don't get a feat. Barbarians really lack feats, but we do get a new rage power. And I'm going to take Deadly Accuracy. We could have taken this earlier, but I held off to get our bite attack when we're raging. But Deadly Accuracy will when you roll a natural 20, or within your crit range for your weapon, you need to roll again to see whether it's actually a critical hit. And this will just give us a bonus of 2 times our lethal stance bonus to critical to confirming that critical. Because, of course, our lethal stance bonus doesn't stack with Lindsay's song, but this does, or it should do. And so we get greater chance to confirm criticals, which is always really good because confirming critical can be hard against high AC enemies. There we go, and we get Danger Sense. Great. Dodge bonus to AC against traps. Really excited about that one. Yeah, anyway, that's it. +6 +1 Bab. Excellent. So, we're all leveled up.
I'll share my path.
And so we can expect to do another Torag's Pendant. Unfortunately, without resting, we're not going to be able to cast our new spells. But that's okay. Wouldn't want to make clearing this map too easy. So we're just going to loop round here. If you see, we could have gone this way, but I'm taking the easy approach here because there's some moderately tough enemies here, and we're doing this low buff. See, we got here Bandit, regular, just level 3. But the point is, we've got, come on, kitty, this Bandit Transmuter, who's a level 7 wizard. So that's they're going to have some spells.
I am your shield.
And so we're going to try and take them out in easy fashion.
To arms.
And we got another one here. Let's just confirm that's just level 4, slightly higher. But let's hope we can trip and turn to cheese. There we go. And might as well close in here now. Since I spoke all about shaking, that's too late. I was going to say we should try and get Demoralize working. They don't have anything particularly interesting, but there are two interesting things nearby. And we're going to hope we can spot this one. There we go. And we're going to hope we can open it
was called for.
without blowing ourselves up.
I'll share my path.
I don't. The answer is no, we didn't spot the trap.
Applause, please.
I said we could do it without blowing ourselves up, and then I went and clicked on it anyway.
The dangers don't frighten
Well, basically this is a falsata. Don't know how you pronounce that, but this is a really good weapon because it's a 90 to 20 crit range and a ×3 crit one-handed weapon. So one of the best classes of weapon you could use if you're using one-handed weapons, hence why it's exotic weapon proficiency group. We also get this Shard of a Knight's Bracelet. This is the only one of these on this map, but this is another artifact which we're going to have to collect all these bits for, and a heavy crossbow +1, which we will equip so that we still can't hit anything, but at least we're trying.
Patience.
Let's just heal up. Embarrassing. Who didn't spot that trap? So, let's go up here. So we just get there's an event here, but we're just going to skip it for now.
Adventures are exciting.
Running won't help you.
So we should
Stay behind me.
just be able to.
This will hurt. Your time is over.
You should have run.
One day
Let us strike
we'll get
with
this to
one
work.
strike.
Away, you rascal.
They're too easy to kill. Alright, here we
Do
go.
not falter.
And we're probably going to need some acid
Stand down.
there. There, that should be all of them. Take some pelts. There's a... Ugh, can't see. There's a log over here. There we go. 210 gold. It's quite nice.
I'll share my path.
I'll share my path. We've got this troll. And let's
We
just
should move.
make sure we're acid-mouthed.
I am yours to command.
My skills are absolute. No time for idling. You offend me.
I need inspiration.
So it's shaken.
Onwards.
We can hit. If we can. And there we go. The sneak attack happens. And, yeah. So, rolling against flat-footed AC as well. Which is really good. Not that trolls have a very high dexterity bonus, I don't think. But basically, we're rolling against a 12. It's, of course, we get the troll gets a penalty because it's been knocked prone. But even with that, we'd be rolling against AC 16 with an AB of 16, which is very nice. Anyway, let's clear this stuff out.
Go down.
Your time is over.
So sneak attack is in.
Away, you rascal.
Acid,
Stand down.
if you can hit. Or else we'll let the cat do it. There we go. Nothing hard with regular trolls now. They should be exceptionally easy to deal with.
Applause, please.
And this is our third Dwarven Helmet Shard, which required a slight. That's a DC 16 perception check is not insignificant. So, you know, if you miss that and you're collecting all the items, you really need to know it's there and reload, or else come back later, which is perfectly possible. But that would require you to actually know where these items were, which would require you to watch a video like this, or probably more likely read a walkthrough. if we just bring up the map, you can see this is our watchtower, our ruined watchtower. It can't be anywhere else. This is our road, and what we've got here is a statue, and you can probably guess that this is a dwarf. Yeah, and we just grab these bits and pieces, and we've got some info here. This is an ancient bit of parchment from this individual who was guarding this road, and the implication here, which is correct, is that the road was built by dwarfs, and that this is a holy statue of Torag. Here we can see, and it looks in very good shape, as one might expect a holy statue in a place where gods actually take an interest and enact their will on the world. They might not want to let their statues fall apart. And so it's it seems to be guarding something in the statue. Who knows what? But there's a reference to a golden cog, and a white cog, and a red cog. And if you remember, we discovered this cog, this golden cog, was given by those two travelers who'd been teleported on top of the rock. So obviously we know the eventual fate of the individual who wrote this. They ended up transported via interaction with the first world on top of a rock and couldn't get back down again. So yeah. And he doesn't know where the other stuff is. We found the white cog. It made its way into the hands of some dwarf who was hoping to come back and claim some treasure. Anyway, reminds us about the names, and hopefully the dwarves will come and restore the road, but it doesn't seem very likely. Anyway, long abandoned. We're going to save off interacting here because we don't have this last cog.
A simple smile goes a long way.
We're going to cast a bit of blur. Last one.
Yes, I'm still here.
Bless Archon's aura. We're a bit low
Is there trouble?
Anything is possible.
on buffs, but hopefully that won't matter. This is just in the steps, another Torag's pendant. And the reason... So I mentioned it was a trap before. If you come up these steps, you appear here surrounded by greater giant spiders. And these are much tougher than the ones in the old Sycamore the tunnels and depths. These are level 7. And they're not very pleasant at all. So what do you do when you see spiders?
Take care of it.
You cast protect from poison. There we go, and we're just going to try and lure them, so we fight them on the steps, which is a little bit easier. Back we come. So our Archon's aura kicks in. This one should attack Valerie from the side. Giddy. There. There.
Become as dust.
There. Oh, and they're immune to shaken, so we can't do very much there, but you lot
Don't hold
can
back.
just fire it back. Let's pull the Miri back and bring her back in. And we can actually use a bit of rage since there's nothing else to fight on this map. That's it.
Do not falter.
Alright. And it's basically one. That.
This is where I step in.
Your time is over.
There we go. Not a difficult fight unless you're not ready for it. At which point it can definitely be a difficult fight. So if we just come over here, we can see there is not much. And this is our ruined watchtower, which the map takes its name from. And you can see it's absolutely filled with spider webs. Those greater giant spiders have obviously been living here. If we bring up the map, We can see it just positioned there with the statue overlooking the road. Obviously some houses down here. And very, very dilapidated in comparison to the statue, which remains.
I'm listening.
Now, we want this chest. And in order to get this, we want to make sure Lindsay isn't encumbered. And we want to take off Valerie's armor here. And unfortunately, we also want to wait 43 seconds for her rage to wear off. Her rage fatigue to wear off. And this is another Torex pendant.
I'll share.
So I think I've managed to demonstrate the interaction between shaken, shattered defenses and the necklace of double crosses. I mean, we didn't see it with the spiders there, but you can really get Valerie or any other fighter to do quite a lot of damage and do it quite simply, because a lot of enemies have high dexterity. It's one of the things which I think a lot of people understand about this game, that the stats are high, like they're higher than you'd expect if you're familiar with the pen and paper module, adventure module of this.
What
So
troubles you?
I've saved, and I'm going to try and do these. I might reload if it all goes badly. So there's a little storybook here, and you can see, we want that chest, it's up there. How are we going to do that? And we get a little bit of text because we brought Harem here, which is quite nice to do. There's one major reason to do that. He's zonked out, just enjoying this rotten tower. But we're going to get Amiri to have a go at reaching this. And she succeeded. Whew. That's a nice roll of 16. And essentially, we're going to try and pass this trickery check as well. But you can see these are hard checks. We're never going to pass that. The perception check we've got a chance with. But what I should have done is I should have swapped the necklace of double crosses onto Lindsay, because that provides like an untyped +4 bonus to trickery, I believe. So that would have made that much more likely. Anyway, we get the possessions of a dwarven warrior, a complex red metal cog. So if you remember what was in the letter, that particular dwarf didn't know what had happened to this dwarf's equipment, and it turned out it was just in a chest in the tower. But yes, thank you, Lindsay. You really saved us there. So, red metal cog. This is a breastplate +2. And this is soot blackened apron. This is one of 5 items in another story artifact set, which we'll cash into the storyteller once we collect all of them. And it won't take us long to collect them. They're all, early on in this chapter. And we get this Troll Reaper there. This is a great axe, because it does +1d6 acid. And if you're struggling for ways to kill trolls, not that the game really skimps on giving you ways to do it, but if you're struggling, this will solve all your problems, and you can just give this to Amiri if you're taking her with you. You can even give it to Valerie. She doesn't have to use a tower shield. You give it to Valerie while you're fighting trolls, make her big, and have her attack from behind someone else. Anyway, this is great. It's a nice item, and this is a regular shield. Don't know how he used the massive axe and the shield as well, but let's just put that there, and we can give this to Valerie. I mean, it's 20 AC. It's rubbish. Like honestly, that's not going to save anything. But I think it's well acknowledged that Amiri and barbarians in general, they're not well suited to taking hits. They're a bit more suited to dealing out damage. Although, even that's a little bit debatable, because are they better than just going 20 levels of fighter?
Applause, please.
Yes, clap, clap, Lindsay. So the last part of this map, before we leave, we're just going to come up here and have a nice little interaction. Ah, I've forgotten something. Right. We went to all that trouble to get those cogs, and we've forgotten the most important part, which is
Lindsay was called forth.
using our cogs. Don't
else?
fail. That's a good opportunity to point something out. With these mobility checks, you get XP for going up and down. So you'll see we got it for our climbing down, and we got more XP for going up. So you can actually snag, just a little bit more XP for doing that. So remains of this cobbled road are barely visible. Yes, we can see that. Anyway, let's see whether we can pass this. So, yep, it's in perfect condition, and yeah, not particularly happy about the surroundings. This is a pretty difficult perception check here, but it's good that we brought Harem along, and that's a success on 18. Thank you very much. If you fail this, it results in like 3 or 4 hours time wasted, which is okay. But obviously, if you did this when you had any buffs active, they would all be stripped off you. And obviously, trying to open the panel doesn't help. We're just going to put our 3 cogs in the mechanism, and we've got no idea how to do it. Fortunately, we've brought a dwarf who, despite all his complaining about how Grotus, and Torag are interacting, meaning he can't do anything. He obviously knows how to fit these cogs. So yeah, there we go. And he opens it up, and inside is some treasure. What do we get? We get cool stuff. We get onion soup recipe. We get quite a lot of gold. We get full plate +1. That's nice. And we get this. This is a very valuable belt. This is a belt of physical perfection +2. This is +2 to strength, dex, and constitution. That's a really valuable thing. So let's just go ahead and we'll shove our full plate on Valerie, because even though it doesn't provide an AC bonus there, it has a better maximum dexterity. So should we start buffing her dexterity up, it reminds me that she can get a greater benefit there if we can get it really high, that is. Anyway, this will buff her AC by 1 because of that increased dex modifier. Also, more hit points, so we're 82 compared to 76, which is nice there. And Harem can get the second-hand armor. There we go. So AC 22, which is nothing special at all, but might as well keep it as high as possible without really caring to because he's sitting with a spear basically, and I think that's about it for that. The last thing is I was just going to run down here to do this interaction with these 3 individuals, but I don't want to leave troll hides. They're a whole 20 gold pieces. So that was the little bandit group there. Armors, nothing particularly special. I think that's basically everything loot wise. So yes, we've got Alec, Galvert, and Edgar, and they are clustered around this tree, a centuries-old oak, a real colossus, which observed from above the ages passing by. So,
Weapons,
I wrote it like I saw it.
buff up.
The art of killing is so diverse these
And
days.
we'll
A
chat to
shame
Alec.
one life is not enough to master
So, they're all circling the oak, and they think they found something. What? Where? Show us. Damn stump. That's a nice tree. You shouldn't cut it down, guys. Yes, anyway. they can apparently smell gold. Who are you? What's happening here? And yeah, they recognize us. Baroness and treasure. There's something going on. And they want to cut down this lovely tree. I'm gonna, yeah. We're gonna need some wood. Maybe we can build a boat too. Yeah, sure. There's more to this. There's something about gold. So, you're not in trouble, just tell me everything. A travelling bard spent the night in our village, told us tales about big fights and barbarians and the chieftains who led their hordes here long ago. In the end, he said he knew where the barbarian chieftains are buried and promised he could show us. And, yeah. They paid him 2 gold, which is a lot if you are a peasant in the South Nile Marches. Anyway, if I remember, we're going to try this check. And, really rolling well here. But, basically, we remember that they buried them in cairns, not beneath trees, and that they're all to the east or northwest, not here. So, basically, they've been scammed. So, yeah, but we can check, and there's no enchantment at all. Why aren't you worried about wandering in these lands? You know, because we live here. Simple enough. And, yeah. If we met a kobold, we'd hit him hard. If we met a wolf, we climb a tree. And if a troll comes around, we run as fast as we can. And they're not afraid of bandits because they don't have any money. Yeah. Anyway, we are going to take the nicest option, which is this lawful good, one which we're guaranteed to pass. We don't want to pick this because we know there's no gold there from our check. We can send them on a wild goose chase elsewhere, but I don't think that's very nice. We can order them to fell the tree. This is a nice. I think these are nice lawful evil and chaotic evil. Like the lawful evil is, yeah, it's my tree, or it will be. You do the work, I'll claim the treasure. And the chaotic evil is like, screw off. We're going digging. Yeah. Anyway, truth is the bard lied to you. And yeah, why? Because we paid too little and he held a. Yeah. Well. Maybe it's actually because he scammed you. They're not very smart, are they? Yeah. Why can't I say you're morons? You've been scammed. Yeah. Anyway, they're gonna run off to go pay the bard more gold to find out where the treasure is. Just true idiots. Anyway, I'm gonna call the video there. That's it for the Ruined Watchtower. We'll be back here, but only to come back up here to pick up for a new event. And that's it. So see you in the next video.